Hey guys, and welcome to this very special episode of the Rose Reviews. My name is Adam Rose, and today we're going to be talking about Suicide Squad, directed by David Ayer. I am joined by my good friend once again, Mr. CJ Hooper. CJ, how you doing?
Doing pretty well.
Awesome. And we just got out of this film, actually. We went to a 6 o'clock showing. We saw it XD 3D.
First people in the area to see it.
Yes, first people in the area. Just got out of it. We haven't really talked about it at all. I told him I don't want to talk about it really until we actually start recording the podcast. So this is going to be our first time really discussing the film. So if you don't know, if you live under a rock, this is Suicide Squad. It's a DC property film. It's in the same world as Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. This happens post Batman v Superman. This is directed by David Ayer, also written by David Ayer. He's directed films and written films such as Training Day, Into Watch, Fury last year. Very well-known director, very popular, and has directed some awesome movies in the past. He also wrote the film, stars, Margot Robbie, Jared Leto, Will Smith, Cara Delevingne, Jag Courtney, Joel Kinnaman, Viola Davis, Karen Fukuhara. I mean, the names, these are some big names.
Yeah, it's got a whole laundry list of big stars.
Yeah, it's a big cast, which we'll get into. So I want to specify that this is a spoiler-free, no spoilers at the beginning of this review, and when we do get into spoilers, we will let you know. It will give you a countdown, and it will be completely separate after we give our rating. Then we'll get into spoilers. So this first bit here will be spoiler-free, so if you have not seen the movie, don't worry about it. This will not ruin the movie for you. We're just going to give you some overall general thoughts of the film, and then we will get into specifics later on after we give our ratings. So at first, we're just going to talk about our anticipation of the film before we talk about the actual film. So let's just talk about our anticipation of the film. What were our thoughts going into it? CJ, go ahead. What were your anticipation thoughts going in?
When I first saw the cast list like 2 years ago, it wasn't quite that long ago, but it was starring Will Smith as Deadshot, and I have a fairly comparable history with reading the comics of the Suicide Squad. I know how important Deadshot is, how prevalent of a character he is. I was actually a little worried Deadshot was going to try and steal center stage, being Will Smith the highest rated actor so far released.
So you were excited about the cast, but also had some trepidations.
I was excited about the movie, the fact that they were going to try
making
this
a Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is at first I was blown away that they're even making a Suicide Squad movie. This is the first movie to really be run by bad guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, after getting out of the film, it's run by bad guys.
Yeah,
they're bad guys.
They do a great job if you are a fan of the comics to definitely clue you in and give you a few extra little tidbits here and there.
Right. So you were a fan of the comic before?
Oh, yes.
Before even seeing this film. Okay. So you had some back knowledge going into it. And were you a fan of the previous DC world films, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman?
Man of Steel was still one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen.
Okay.
Batman v Superman was great, but I do have some issues with the way Superman was portrayed in that. That's something else altogether.
That's fair.
I do like the world Zack Snyder has created so far.
So you're excited about this DC film? I'm
very excited.
So you're excited going into it. Would you say, was this one of your most anticipated films of the year?
One of the more anticipated ones.
So you were pretty excited going into it?
It's hard to top. I mean, also this year we had
Deadpool.
We had Civil War. We had Batman vs Superman. So I wouldn't say
X-Men Apocalypse.
I would top X-Men Apocalypse.
Doctor Strange.
It is not going to top Doctor Strange for me.
Okay, so Doctor Strange is really anticipated.
Yes.
So, but overall, so you had read the comics.
Yes.
You were excited about this. You were a fan of this DC world. So overall, I would say expectations for you were pretty high.
Expectations were high, but at the same time, I did have some. There were a lot of reservations.
Yes, reservations going into it. Okay, so that's kind of where you were before seeing the film.
Yes.
Great. For myself, I'm not going to lie to you. This is probably my most anticipated film of the year.
Really?
Yeah, it was. Even more than Batman v Superman, which is surprising. But mainly because I love Batman's Rogue Gallery so much. And I knew Batman was going to be in this film based off the trailers. So I knew I was going to get my dose of Batman. And I also am just a fan of these characters so much. And I love the Suicide Squads. I love seeing Harley Quinn on the big screen, seeing Amanda Waller and Killer Croc. It's just, Katana, for me, I was just so excited for this film. So my anticipation was, this is the most anticipated movie for me this year. I had a lot of expectations going into it. I've also read the comics. I've seen them in several different cartoons and shows and things. They were in Arrow for kind of. So, I mean, I was really, really excited about this film, especially with the director of David Ayer, having directed some amazing films before, the cast, just it had everything going for it. So I was very excited going into this film. So, now let's get into overall, nothing super specific, overall general thoughts right when the ending credits, all the credits were done, right when they were done, how are you feeling?
I thought it was a really well done movie. Not necessarily superhero movie, but at the end of the movie, I felt like it was a full cathartic loop. It was a well done movie in and of itself, completely apart from all comic history, completely apart from any pre-expectations. Had going in, never heard anything about any of these characters, not knowing anything about Batman. Had I come in, sat down to that movie, I still would have enjoyed it.
So you had fun?
Had a lot of fun.
Had a lot of fun.
Had a lot of fun.
One word to describe the film for you. General
fun. Actually,
fun.
Yeah, with the characters in there, the way they portrayed themselves. There's a lot of serious, but there's definitely that fun undertone throughout the whole movie.
So I'm gonna say my general thoughts was, I think this was an amazing comic book movie. I think it's a comic book movie. Now, if you're looking at this and wanting a complete narrative and wanting it to completely have awesome character development and make sense and have no plot holes and just, this is not gonna be, if you're gonna analyze this thing to death, it's not gonna be for you. No movie's done that though. What?
No superhero movie to date.
Dark Knight. I think Dark Knights did it.
The Christopher Nolan ones?
Yeah.
They did the best so far.
Batman Begins and Dark Knight for me.
There's still some plot holes.
Maybe so, but I mean, like, if you're looking for just a comic booky, fun film, I think this was awesome.
Oh, yes.
Now, there are some nitpicky issues, and there are some story issues, for sure, with this film, which we'll get into. Mm-hmm. But I think, for me, at the end of the credits, I thought it was fun. I had fun with it. I enjoyed it as a comic book movie. I enjoyed it as a Suicide Squad movie. I enjoyed seeing these characters. I enjoyed seeing them brought to life. I thought they did a really great job with the character. Me personally, I had no problems with any character and how they portrayed that character, which we'll get into in a bit.
Okay, good.
But overall thoughts, was fun for you.
It was a very enjoyable movie.
And for me, I loved it as a comic book film. I loved it. I loved
95% of it as a comic book film. Fair.
For me, as a comic book movie, I loved it. Now,
it was one of the best done comic book films. Besides Anticipation, I would say it is the second best comic book film so far this year.
Okay, behind Deadpool?
Third best. I completely forgot about Deadpool.
It came out in February. This is that time.
I just really loved Civil War.
Okay, see, I like this more than Civil War.
I feel like the story writing and the character design is a lot better than Civil War. I think
the story for Civil War was better. Yeah, I think so.
I think the story was more hype. For this, I actually liked the... character development. Sorry, that's what I liked.
Yeah, that was it.
Character development in
Suicide Squad. I literally enjoyed.
There's a little bit of character development in Civil War. There's actually a lot compared to a lot of Marvel movies.
But anyways, we're going to tangent.
In this movie...
Yeah, so... Anyways, to just our overall thoughts is we both enjoyed the film. We both like the film, which if you look at most critics right now, it has like a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I was really actually worried walking into the theater because I'd heard most people
don't like it. And I totally, now that I've seen the film, understand why people won't like this. I get it. There are problems with this film. I'm a DC fanboy, but I'm not a stupid DC fanboy where I stick my head in the sand and ignore anything negative in any of the movies. No. I understand there are problems with this movie. I get that. I'm just saying, for me, as a fan of this stuff, and as growing up on this stuff and reading this, I thoroughly enjoyed it and had fun seeing the characters that I love come to life in a way that I wanted to see them, and I had fun.
95%?
95% for you. So let's get into a little bit specifics here. So no spoilers. David Ayer as a director.
The directing, beautiful.
There's a lot of stylistic
I
choices.
haven't seen his other movies. The cinematography specifically, I thought was very tasteful.
The action was shot really well.
It was shot a lot better than I don't want to say a gross overuse of slow-mo, but there's a lot of slow-mo.
Yeah.
It seems to fit in with the film.
For me, though.
It never distracted, but it did stand out to me at the 6th or 7th slow-mo scene.
That's fair.
When you're doing a lot of people with Deadshot, he does a lot with bullets and a lot of small. You're trying to focus on each individual character inside a massive group fight scene. Slow-mo is definitely the smartest way to go.
Right. So I thought he filmed the action really well.
Oh, yes.
I thought the slow-mo that he did use, I enjoyed.
It kept it allowed the viewer to tell what was going on in the fights.
Yeah.
As opposed to other movies where it's just...
Right. Yeah, that's why it was, to me, why it felt like a comic book movie was, it literally felt like panels were coming to life at times because you actually could see it. He allowed you to see what was going on, which I really enjoyed. Also, he makes a lot of stylistic choices in regards to, I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know how to say that.
Character interpretation?
No, I'm trying to, in regards to what he puts up on screen, and there's a lot of style. I'll just leave it at that. There are a lot of stylistic choices
There are, yes.
in regards to how he presents the film and the storytelling. Because no spoiler. It's not a spoiler.
I think I know what you're getting at.
Yeah, which I'll talk about in a bit. But it's not a spoiler to say that he jumps back and forth in time a little bit, which I enjoyed.
I enjoyed it. It did only get confusing for me at one point.
Okay.
When I didn't realize a certain amount of time had lapsed.
Right.
But it does clarify itself. You will not get to the end of the movie and not know when the time lapse were.
Right. For me, there's still problems with time, but at the same time, it's punny. But at the same time, I didn't distract me from the film at all.
Oh,
it was just it was just me being nitpicky.
Yeah, at the time, I was so in love with the characters, so in love with the emotions going on screen. I was sold into the movie.
And that's the thing that I think David Ayer is so good at. If you look at any of his films, you look at Training Day, End of Watch, or Fury, which are my 3 favorite films of his.
Okay.
Performances he gets from the actors. So now we're skipping from we'll just skip over writing because that's where all my problems are. Let's get into the performances. We'll come back to writing.
Okay.
David Ayer gets some of the best performances out of his actors. Denzel Washington in Training Day. You got Shia LaBeouf in Fury, which I thought it was a crappy actor in some of his stuff, but in that he got a great performance. Michael Pena and Jake Gyllenhaal in End of Watch, great performances. Again, here, all the actors, to me, great performances. Did any performance stick out to you that you enjoyed or didn't enjoy? Without getting too specific?
Yeah, well, with the 95%, my 5% is all Joker related.
Okay.
I
don't think that's a spoiler to say that you didn't enjoy the Joker.
I mean, people have been on the edge or on the precipice about Jared Leto's Joker.
And why didn't you like him? Is it fair to say that you don't like him?
It's not fair to say I don't like him.
Okay.
But to be fair, I am grading him against every other Joker. I'm coming off of my most recent
Heath
superhero
Ledger's
movie.
Joker.
It was not Heath Ledger's Joker.
Mark Hamill's.
Mark Hamill's Joker, which is easily by far my favorite. And with the movie and with the style I thought they were doing, they were going to get a more animated Joker, which they did and they didn't. They got more animated in his antics, but not in his physicality. Okay. And I need that physicality behind it.
Okay.
That was Heath Ledger had, but that's not what would you characterize Heath Ledger's role.
Right.
I would not want Heath Ledger's Joker.
So overall problem with him was you didn't feel like he was funny enough.
Not funny. I didn't feel like he was
physical humor.
Yeah, I didn't feel like he carried the air of the Joker when he was on screen. It wasn't the same as when Mark Hamill's Joker's on the screen in Killing Joke, or if
Jack Nicholson in 1989.
That carries a very different.
Cesar Romero's Joker and Adam West.
Oh gosh, I do not.
I love Cesar Romero's Joker.
I loved it when I first watched it. It has some difficult replay value.
And it's true. But for me, I think this Jared Leto Joker, which of course he's coming off an impossible situation with Heath Ledger passing.
But Jared Leto has the talent.
Oh, he's a super Dallas Buyers Club and Requiem for a Dream. I mean, this guy has been in some awesome roles.
He no doubt in my mind, he can do it.
You just don't think he killed it in this
I
film.
don't think he killed it. He doesn't get a whole lot of screen time either.
See, here's the problem. And don't go into this movie expecting Joker to have a lot of screen time,
Yes.
because he doesn't. He's maybe in the movie 10 minutes? Is that being generous?
10, 15, about the same amount as Hannibal Lecter.
That's true. So he's about 10. Hannibal Lecter's not in this movie. We're talking about a different movie.
Yeah.
But I would say he's only on screen about 10 minutes. So you're not getting a lot of Joker in here. And I am on the opposite fence of you. I really enjoyed this interpretation of the Joker. For me, this Joker was Cesar Romero's Joker meets the Dark Knight Returns Joker. And if they had a baby, this is what this Joker is kind of like. Because the Dark Knight Returns Joker is very business suit oriented, very methodical, very gangstery
Very
kind of
gangster.
thing. And this Joker is very much that. He's very much a gangster businessman who's just happens also to be slightly insane. I enjoyed it. Now, is it 100%? It's a complete 180 from what Heath Ledger did, which I think is great. Because if you're Jared Leto, you're coming off of an amazing Oscar-winning performance of an actor who died post the movie. You can't go in there and try and do the same thing.
You can't one-up that.
No.
You don't want to try. Even if you could one-up it, you want to do something different. You want to bring something new to the table of the Joker.
And I thought he did. I thought he brought a different Joker that I feel like fit in this world.
It fit into this world very well, yes.
And boy, can I not wait until him and Ben Affleck are in a scene together.
that's
Batman.
when I think he can shine. That's when, because all we did see is in this movie you see Batman or Joker and Harley, and the way they interact.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Absolutely amazing.
They nailed the Joker and Harley relationship for me.
Everything as far as character goes from original. I mean, I go from the old TV show, the animated TV show.
Where she originated. She originated from the TV show.
And they nailed that, but when the Joker's presence in Gotham didn't seem to carry what I feel the Joker should.
Okay, that's fair. And there's questions for me. I mean, obviously, this is post Batman v Superman, so
Yes.
Batman's older in this. This is the Batman current day, so that means Joker's been around, because Batman's been around for a long time.
He mentions the Joker in
Batman v
Superman.
So Joker's been around a while, so everyone in Gotham knows who he is. And just by saying, I can tell you, the characters in this movie know who Joker is, because they all seem to, I don't know, without spoilers, they seem to notice that when they know who he's been around. He's been around.
Yeah.
So we're going a little long even on the non-spoiler here. So let's talk about each character briefly. So Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. First time we get to see Harley Quinn live action. What are your thoughts?
Going into it, she was what I was most worried about this movie.
Really? Was Margot Robbie?
Yes. I had seen, I know she's a great actor, but from what I'd seen in the commercials, this is straight up the commercials, it looked like they were just doing a straight up crazy role Harley Quinn. And I don't know if this is spoilers or not. I don't think it is, but they nail, if you're for comic book fans, they nail her backstory.
Yeah, no, that's not a spoiler.
That's the first thing they nail, straight off the bat. And because they solidified that backstory, it put the craziness you see in the trailers in a much different light.
See, for me, when I see the craziness in the trailers, I agree with you. Sometimes the jokes in the trailers that Harley has don't work.
Yes.
But when you put it in the context of the film, I'm telling you guys, it works.
It does.
It works.
She quickly turned from the thing I was most worried about in the movie, or the second most worried about,
Behind
to
Will Smith.
one of my favorite parts. One of my favorite things. I enjoyed every second she was on screen.
Me too. I
She
think
was
we can leave it at
attractive to
that.
look at.
She's beautiful,
And she really did. She nailed the role at the same way that Tara Strong
Tara
that voiced
Strong.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, she did.
She nailed it as good as anyone has ever done it since her.
Yeah, she is amazing as Harley
She
Quinn.
got the
She
voice,
nailed it to
the
me.
physicality. She seemed to get the personality down too.
Yeah, and the relationship between her and the Joker is perfect.
They really dive into the psychology behind it. Or,
Yeah.
well, not the psychology behind it, but a lot of the emotions behind it that you don't get to see in the animated series because it's a kid show.
Right. No, they nailed that relationship, and Margot Robbie, I thought, killed it as Harley Quinn. So we talked about Jared Leto as the Joker. Let's talk briefly about Will Smith as Deadshot. Now, I know you said, and I had the same fear, Will Smith likes to go in, there's been stories and rumors, Will Smith likes to go into movies and he likes to be the main character. He likes it to be about Will. He likes it to be about him. I was afraid, and I know you said that you had the same fears, that Will Smith was going to go into this movie and make it all Will Smithy and just make it about him. I can happily tell you that that's not the case. It is now, I'm not saying Will Smith's charm
I don't think
and
Will
likability.
Smith steals the show. I think the writing points the show at Deadshot.
Of course, he's the only human character you're really following.
Will Smith's portrayal of it is what makes that okay.
Because he's such a likable guy.
For one of the first times, I sympathize with Flint Lawton. I
Yes,
sympathize with Deadshot. And that's, and his characters that you've seen in Arrow and some of the other
you don't really
TV
feel for him.
You kind of get a little bit, but for the most part, no, he's a hired gun. And for this time, you see a little bit behind it. And Will Smith, in an excellent performance, I would put like 2 steps behind Pursuit of Happiness. I love him.
I thought he did a great job with bringing humanity to this character, but also not trying to steal scenes. It wasn't forced.
It wasn't Deadshot the
forced.
movie.
No, and it wasn't forced, which I thought, I was kind of afraid he was going to try and force the attention towards himself, but he didn't have to do it. It just naturally happened.
It worked so organically.
Yeah, and he had great chemistry with the other members. We'll talk some specific scenes with him, and spoilers. Cara Delevingne as Enchantress.
I know very little about the Enchantress before going into it. I can tell you she's very attractive.
She's very pretty.
She's very pretty,
that's what
and
you got out
she
of
doesn't wear a whole lot
No.
throughout the movie, which is very nice if you're just going in for a lady viewing thing. You got Harley Quinn, you got Enchantress, and if one's not on the screen, the other is.
Yeah.
And you're pretty fine there. But she did.
Any problems?
The acting seemed a little cheesy for the Enchantress at times.
Okay.
Again, I don't know much about her character in the comics.
Yeah, for me, it's hard to say because it's slight. I mean, she doesn't have a lot to do. She doesn't, as the actress Cara Delevingne as Enchantress doesn't have a lot to do in regards to lines, in regards to tons of acting. She was fine. Yeah. Let's talk about Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang. I don't like Jai Courtney. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like him. This is the best role I've ever seen him in.
Actually, I sometimes
loved
like him.
Captain Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang was kind of just that little olive on top of your nice sandwich.
I loved Captain Boomerang. I loved Jai Courtney.
I was not expecting much from Jai Courtey.
I wasn't either.
Or Captain Boomerang.
I was expecting crap.
I was honestly like it when it came down to it. I knew it was gonna be a Deadshot and Harley Quinn heavy movie, and Captain Boomerang, he just slid right in there. He fit. Everything fit so well. Actually, the balance between the characters.
That's this movie's strength.
It is.
Is its character.
They balance it very well.
Let's talk about Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag. Tom Hardy was originally supposed to play this character. Now seeing the film, I wish Tom Hardy would have played the character. Joel Kinnaman did serviceable job to me.
I've never seen him before.
He was RoboCop.
Oh, he was RoboCop. That was RoboCop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was terrible.
He fit the role. I've never was much of a big fan of his character either in the comics or in the movie.
No, I don't like his comics.
He's more there as a convenience to.
Yeah, he did fine.
He didn't blow me away.
Yeah, so he did fine. He wasn't bad. He didn't take me out of it, but he didn't do anything.
I think it was
this
might go back to a writing thing for a lot of his motivation in the movie.
Yeah,
I kind of had an issue with that. We can cover more in the spoiler.
Yeah, it's kind of Viola Davis as Amanda Waller.
I cannot picture anyone else to play Amanda Waller.
And after seeing the film,
I could not picture anyone else beforehand.
And
after seeing the film, oh my goodness, I'm so scared of her as an actor now. She has Amanda. I was more scared of her than anything else in that movie.
Yeah.
She was. She had me. I had Superman. I would like to see her stare down Superman. That would be a chilling scene.
She was fantastic.
Absolutely. I mean, I knew going in she's in a lot of the trailers, a lot more than I thought she was going to be in from
and she's in a good chunk of the movie too.
And she needed to be because it's Amanda Waller, and she's the segue between the superheroes, the Justice League, and then the lower area.
Right.
And I honestly couldn't if I had to cast this movie myself, I would have cast her from what I'd seen, what little I saw of her on Scandal, and everything else. She nails acting. She is a very talented actor, and she nails that heavy undertone that when she says something,
you
but
mean
when
it.
you there's a heavy fist
Oh yeah.
behind it.
Oh yeah. You want to listen?
Oh, and she absolutely nailed it.
She does a great job. She is Amanda Waller. This is an amazing performance of Amanda Waller, and we'll talk about it in our spoilers. She's a scary lady.
She's
a scary lady.
she was what?
Karen Fukuhara plays Katana. I thought she was good. This is her own first role.
Yeah, well,
she's kind of, the character itself is underutilized.
The character is underutilized.
But her performance, I thought, was
her
fine.
backstory is hazed through what she had. She did very well with what she had to work.
Just
with.
the performance.
She fit in well. She was kind of a shoo-in character. It kind of felt like.
Right.
But her acting and her ability to play the character was very well utilized.
Yeah, I thought she was fine. Killer Croc, played by Adewale Akinwumi Agaba.
Yeah, he's the guy from The Mummy Returns. That's what I always remember him as. I did not recognize that until I checked the IMDb
practical
page.
makeup for Killer Croc.
That makeup was great.
It was great. We'll talk about that in a bit, but that was awesome. Killer Croc, him as Killer Croc. Any problems? Do you like him?
The character? I mean,
not the character, just him as performance of Killer Croc.
I was rooting for Killer Croc for once.
Okay, so you liked the performance?
I loved it.
Oh, I loved it too. He killed it as Killer Croc. Did a really nice job. Last one in the squad here, Jay Hernandez as El Diablo. Thoughts on his performance as El Diablo?
I can't remember what else I've seen him in.
He was just in Bad Moms.
I loved his I love his character, and it's really hard to separate his acting from the character in this.
Okay.
I loved his character and what his character brought to the table, and because I have such problems separating his ability to act that character and what the character did, I feel like that's really what talent is as an actor.
So you enjoyed it.
Oh,
so you
very
enjoyed
much.
his performance. Okay. So we talked about the directing, we talked about the acting. One last thing here, I want to talk about the writing. This is the problem I have. Okay, I could go on a couple things, but I'm just gonna keep it short and say one thing. My big problem, I don't know how you feel. We haven't talked about it, so I don't know. My main big problem with this film is the villain, and I'm not going to tell you who the villain is because they haven't said it in the trailers, and I don't want to talk about it.
It did take me by surprise.
I didn't like the villain. I didn't think it was strong. The actual mission they have to go on was loose, to say at best. It just didn't make a lot of sense, and I didn't believe it, and I didn't follow it that well. The villains, things they have to fight remind me of Age of Ultron, where they just fight mindless machines where you have no emotional connection to the things that they're fighting, so you're like, I don't care. Why am I caring about this? And I wanted the villain to be stronger. I had suspicions of what it was going into it. I was right. So I wanted it to be more than it was, and it wasn't. That was my main problem with the film, honestly. Everything else, the writing, the character development, where it goes, in regards to characters, loved it. Only big problem was the villain for me, and how that last third act fight with the villain kind of went was okay. I just didn't think the villain was strong, and the actual mission that the squad, Task Force X, the Suicide Squad was actually going on was strong. That's my main problem.
I actually liked it.
What about you?
Okay, this is going to be hard to differentiate because they kind of go on two separate missions. Or not two separate missions, but a main mission, which they somewhat accomplish, and then they have an extra bonus objective that's kind of the main objective from the start, as far as a movie writing standpoint goes.
Okay.
And up until when they achieve their first objective, there's a bit of a twist there that I didn't see coming. It's not the biggest twist, not the most important twist, but it was a very much needed twist. And up to that point, I was on board. I knew who the main villain was. I didn't know going in.
So at the end of the film, what do you think? Did you like the villain had to do?
No, I didn't like the villain. But that's not what I was focusing on in film. I wasn't actually when they were fighting the villain could have literally been a black sticker on the page. It didn't bother me because what I was focusing on was the character development. The characters,
they did such a good job with that.
And that I think is what he intended for the focus to be. And I mean, they really could have come up with they could have opened a comic book, thrown a dartboard, and picked a better villain. Yes.
Yeah.
Literally anyone.
Yeah, they had Suicide Squad has a lot of, because of the way it's a bunch of villains fighting things. They had a lot of cool options to choose from baddies, and
they picked none of them.
They didn't pick a good one. So that's my main big problem. Overall, let's talk about overall closing thoughts here, and then we'll score it. I enjoyed the film. I had a lot of fun. I think it's a really fun comic book film. If you're looking for anything to really, nitpick a story and look for plot holes and all these things, it's not going to be the movie for you. But if you just go in there, have fun with this world, have fun with these characters, I think, and it's a comic book superhero film, and it's fun. It's fun. I had fun. I laughed. I got emotional. I got geeked out because of, certain things that we'll talk about in a bit. There's certain things that happen. I geeked out at those. I had so much fun watching this film that I can't wait to see it again. Those are my overall thoughts. What about you?
Oh, that's hard to follow, but I mean, about the same. It's literally one of the most fun films I've seen in a long time. It's
fun.
The most fun superhero film since Deadpool.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a ride from the start.
Oh,
I was laughing. I was at the characters. Just you really do fall in love with the characters.
You do.
You care
about bad guys
so much. That's what the Suicide Squad's about.
I know, and who could have told you you're gonna care about bad people? And by the way, they are bad people. They don't try and redeem them and make them good people at the end. They still do bad things. They still will continue. These characters
they're still
will
bad
continue
guys
to
at
do
heart,
things. Oh, yeah.
Despite their one redeeming action in this movie.
Right. They still will do bad things.
They stay true to their nature, and that's
the thing.
I'll touch that in the spoiler section, because they do a really good job at having them achieve their goal because they're bad guys.
Exactly.
And that I really liked that touch.
Yeah. So, score. So, again, on this podcast, we score it from 0 to 5. 0 being Thorn, being the worst movie you've ever seen. 5 being, one of the best movies you've ever seen. On a score of 0 to 5. I'll let you go first since you're the guest.
Last time I gave Killing Joke a 4.5. I got to give this a 4.5B. It's the same score, but for very different reasons. Killing Joke was a very serious, very focused, and they completed that well. This is a 4.5 because it is just fun. As you said, you get in, you strap down for a roller coaster, and it's the whole ride. There's not a moment in that movie where I wasn't entertained. I wasn't bored. I wasn't waiting for what was coming next.
It keeps going. So 4.5 for you out of 5. Wow. Okay.
I need to start rating things lower.
For me, this is a tough one, because if I'm looking at it from a filmmaking and just based off of film, the score is going to be lower. But if I'm looking at it from my enjoyment, and this is my podcast, so I can say whatever I want, for my own personal enjoyment of this film, did I enjoy it as a film and did I have fun? Yes. I'm going to have to give it a 4.8 out of 5. I had so much fun. Now, I could, again, that's my own personal score because I love this world. I love these characters. I love where it went and what happened with and I love seeing these characters. And they nailed who these characters are, and that's all I wanted from this film. So, for me, it's a high score. Now, I understand if you get out of this movie and you don't like it as much as I did. I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, we both had histories in the comics, and there's a lot that it gives a good ode to that.
Right, and I totally get if you don't, you find it cheesy or you find whatever. I totally understand, and I totally see problems with this film. I'm not burying my head in the sand, and I'm not saying this film has no problems. I'm not saying that. I'm saying from my own perspective as Adam, I had so much fun with this film that it's a 4.8 out of 5 for me. I really enjoyed it. And that'll be it for our spoiler-free section of the review. So,
woo-hoo!
Yeah. So
my favorite part.
So we're going to get into spoilers here. So if you've seen the film or you just don't care about being spoiled, now in about 5 seconds we're going to start spoiling the film. So I'd highly recommend you go out and see it before you listen to this.
Yeah.
So if you are done listening, thank you for listening. Come back next time. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to start talking about spoilers here.
Woo-hoo!
Things that we have issues with, more specifically, things that we liked specifically. So we're going to try and go in order of the film.
Okay.
Okay.
So
chronological order here. Let's talk about first Batman because he's pretty early on in the film.
Well, I would say, the film starts off with a fairly clunky exposition. Exposition in movies are usually
Clunky exposition from Amanda Waller.
From Amanda Waller, giving you it goes straight into backstory, and
of
the
characters.
backstories are very disproportionate.
Yes, they give Deadshot and Harley Quinn are the main ones.
Solid 10 minutes each, and then 2 seconds.
Did you like that, or did that bother you?
It didn't bother me because everything was explained well enough, and then Digger Harkness gets a 2-second thing.
Yeah.
With a quick Flash shoe-in. I wasn't expecting.
Oh yeah, Flash is in this.
Flash
that was
pops
so
up for
exciting.
about as fast as you would expect him to
That
be.
was I did not know.
He looks
Flash.
great in the costume.
Yeah, I had heard a superhero was going to be in this film.
We already knew Batman was.
Oh, I know, but I had heard there was another one. But I thought it was going to be a Superman on TV or something. I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know it was the Flash.
I would have guessed Aquaman. I've been just dying to see an Aquaman.
Well, when you see full out Flash in the suit.
Oh yeah, he saves the day.
Yeah, he gets Captain Boomerang, which is awesome because Captain Boomerang is a Flash villain. So it was cool to see that. So yeah, definitely the disproportionate of time. I liked how they explained Harley Quinn. They explained her.
Yeah, they did that. They just went straight to the original story.
Yeah, from
Dr.
Mad Love.
Harleen Quinn.
Yeah, Dr.
falls
Harleen
madly in love
Quinzel.
with the Joker, who she's trying to rehabilitate, and she just falls for him, and he just takes her on the ride of her life.
Tortures her a little bit.
And that's something they would never have touched on in the kids show.
Not really.
I think it makes a lot of sense for the character.
Yeah.
As far as
for
if you
sure.
know how torture affects people, the whole idea behind the Stockholm
syndrome type thing,
and
yeah.
that she does seem to exhibit a lot of that, even in the
yeah.
kids show. Just as a
massively.
psychology-minded person, you can see patterns of that. But
Definitely.
She says puddin' all the time. Her mannerisms are the
Mr.
same.
J.
Mr. J.
Yeah, she says put in Mr. J. When she said Mr. J the first time, I was like, oh my god.
It was at that point because she says it in the flashback.
Yeah, she says it in the flashback.
And it was at that point where I was like, I'm no longer worried about this character anymore. I went into this
said
thing
Mr.
thinking
J, it's
she was
all
just
over.
going to be a crazy lady who meets the Joker and then falls in love. No, it was the Joker that made her crazy, just like the original, and she's basically an adult TV or adult movie version of the character we loved in the kids show.
Yeah. I really liked her backstory. I like Deadshot's backstory. I have no problems with that. Again, so now we're getting to Harley's backstory. That's where Batman shows up. Mm-hmm. I like that the Batman was introduced to me. You saw Batman. You didn't see Batman from his perspective. You saw it from Deadshot's perspective and Harley Quinn's perspective, which I liked because to me, you've never seen a Batman movie or Batman on screen at all where it wasn't from his perspective. So this is the first time you're seeing Batman from the villain's perspective, which for me makes Batman, one, annoying because you're trying to get away with stuff and he won't let you go, and two, Batman's pretty scary. I mean, he's following you, Joker and Harley in a car, and he's jumping on top of the car.
I mostly like the flintlock. I mean, I don't want to say I identified a lot with the character, but I definitely empathized a lot with his character.
He's ticked. Did you see on his wall in his cell? Do you see his poster?
Oh no, what was it?
Oh, in Floyd's Lawton's cell. Kill the Bat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's a poster on and Deadshot's when he's back
which makes sense.
Belle Reve, it says, and they're not at Arkham Asylum.
How would the fight have gone if
the little girl
wasn't there?
The Batman would have flipped him out.
Batman would have won, yes, but how would they have written that? I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't have gotten away unscathed.
Yeah. Deadshot's not a hand-to-hand guy.
Well, no, but he's got his hand-to-hand guns. Okay, I'm not
but so Batman, I thought was awesome in this movie. I thought he was used just enough. Used just enough. Ben Affleck as Batman used. Would I have loved to see more Batman? Yes. Was it necessary? No. I understand why he's not in it more. I had no problem with the amount of time that he's in it.
I actually like it. Was a pleasant. It was enough to get another little taste of Batman. Mm-hmm. Like after that Superman vs Batman movie.
Yeah.
I wanted a little bit more. Gave me a little bit more.
Yeah.
It was kind of nice.
It's cool. So let's talk about next on our spoiler section, Enchantress. I want to talk about Enchantress.
Okay.
So this is the problem I have with her. One, you don't really get why this character wants to kill people. I don't get it. Like, the movie never really explains. Like, she's like, I wanted to kill all humans.
Evil. Yeah, she's
why?
evil historical. She's just been around for a while and wants to kill things.
I know, all they say is they used to worship us, now they don't, and now I want to kill everybody. I was like, why?
What a bitch.
Yeah, I was like, why? You know? So it's like, I don't get it. But you know, that was the weak point for me, was Enchantress, and I just didn't get her motivations, and I felt like the movie never clearly states it.
I mean, I didn't notice that, but yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Well, again, I was a little more focused on the characters, but I didn't really like her character at all. She seemed very one-dimensional. Even with her dualistic personality, that still seemed very when you have two different characters played by the same actor and it comes off as one-dimensional. There's an issue there.
This is the problem I had, and her brother. It's just the weakness of that. Him getting blown up. He's a magical being. It's get blown up by a bomb and he dies. What?
Yeah, I don't know anything about her as far as like actual
comic book
history.
Oh, I know her. I've read a couple times in comic books. I mean, she's in Justice League Dark sometimes
is she
with Constantine.
A diehard powerhouse, or is she?
No, she's.
Because she seemed like she could go toe to toe with some pretty powerful people in this
she's
movie.
not. She's not in the. I mean, she's a powerful character. She's a witch in the comic books.
Okay.
You know, usually deals with guys like Constantine and Deadman and Justice League Dark type characters, magic type stuff. So, I don't know. I didn't like them using her as a villain. Thought it was weak. Let's talk about Slipknot. Killed him off real quick.
Okay. So, when I picture Suicide Squad, I read a lot of the old campy comics. I picture Deadshot, I picture Boomerang, Captain Boomerang, and then I picture Slipknot. Those are the three most, and then the Captain
That's
Guy
so
dude.
funny
whatever.
that you pictured Slipknot. I don't picture him at all.
I got, in the first batch of comics I ever got, I got a bunch of Firestorm, and then I got like 20 Suicide Squad ones, and most of them had Slipknot in it,
crazy.
just right on the cover. And then when I'm pretty sure when the Suicide Squad gets called in to kind of take out Firestorm, when he goes somewhat AWOL and wants to take out the world's nuclear arsenals by himself against the Justice League and everyone else, I'm pretty sure Slipknot's in there too. And like from the comics I'd read, which is a very small depiction of all the Suicide Squad comics, just Slipknot had been in there.
Yeah, I didn't know he was I knew he was in the movie, but since I didn't see him in like the trailers very often or like the marketing stuff, I was like, yeah, he's dead soon.
I had no idea he was in there.
Oh.
When he was on screen, like, yeah, this guy's Slipknot. I was like, yes.
And they give him
he's
no
in there.
backstory.
And no backstory. He's just there. It's like, okay, we'll see. Okay, he can climb anything. Okay, that's not really like anything at all like the comics. But you know what? Let's give it a couple more seconds. I gave it a couple more seconds, and he's fucking dead.
Yeah, his head gets blown off. Right when he started talking to Boomerang, I was like, he's dead.
Yeah.
He's gonna get his head blown off. Which was awesome.
It needed to happen for the story.
Yeah.
I just wish they would have picked another one-off person.
Oh, I hate Slipknot, so that's fine.
He's not a dynamic character, but
no.
he was one
power,
that I liked.
his abilities are stupid.
He's got scientific rope. He's basically got Spider-Man web rope.
It's like, okay. So he's dead. I didn't mind that. Thought that was cool. Let's also talk about another spoiler type thing. Did you like that they showed Harley going into the Acme
The Acme or the Ace?
I'm sorry, the Acme. That is definitely not it. The Ace chemical plants and stuff like that.
It was another way they tried to stay true to the history,
turning into Harley and all that type of stuff.
And that's.
I had no problem with that. That was cool.
Somewhat dream sequences that they reveal it in, it's a little wonky and it seems a little cheesy, but it fits with the idea of it being a dream sequence.
Yeah.
It was tastefully done, and it really just, it was another way that they stayed true to the comics.
Did you like El Diablo dying at the end?
Did he die?
Yeah, he's dead.
He's dead?
Okay, if a bomb blows up a magical creature, it's gonna blow up a dude that's right on top of it.
My rule for is it's the same thing for Game of Thrones and anything else. If they're dead, show me the body.
Okay. I think it's blown to bits. That's why I didn't show it.
Well, he was somewhat Diablo looking. He was a giant skeleton with fire.
That's what he looks like in the comics, too.
Yeah, no, he looked great.
Yeah, he looks cool.
There's not much of a body going to be... I mean, it looks like it could have disintegrated. He could have, I don't know,
I think he's dead.
Coma.
I think he's super dead. But,
I really don't want him to be, and what's the
me
best
too,
part
he was
about...
cool.
He was done so well.
He was so cool. I was kind of sad when he
died. Well, his character was actually one of my favorite for the dynamics, because they have that one scene where they're all in somewhat of a trance, being shown what they're
what they want, and he just jumps right out of it, man.
Because I was thinking at that same time, because they touched on it earlier, like when Harley Quinn's like, own your crap, dude, own it. You made that mistake, but you did it.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there with his family that he killed, and he's like, this isn't right. I killed them. I can't change that. I've accepted reality. It's not great, but I've accepted it, and that's exactly what I was thinking right before it happened.
Yeah.
And it was great to see. His character is kind of the monk character that I love to see.
And that brings me back to what this movie does so well, which is make bad guys. And they make no mistake about it. I mean, Deadshot, they say several times, yeah, he's kind of the heart of the film, but at the same time, this dude kills people for money. And and at the end of the film, guess what? He would keep doing it if he wasn't in jail.
I think he will keep doing it.
Yeah, and he'll keep killing people in Suicide Squad, all that type of stuff. So I mean, like, these are bad people, but they make them so and Harley is an evil person, but at the same time they show her intelligent, and they also show her as crazy, but also she has a heart to her.
There's that one scene at the end where it looks like she's about to betray the whole team and be like, I want Mr. J back to the point where I'm gonna switch sides.
Everybody.
Which, as a writer, from a storybook writer perspective, that trope's been played out so many times before.
Right.
Last second, but even at the same time, this is Harley. I was still, part of me was like, what's she gonna do? And it was at that part right there where she was at herself the most Harley Quinn she's been in the whole movie. She's just flipping tables on people.
Yeah.
She's keeping them. She's doing what you're not expecting to do.
Takes the Soul Taker sword,
just
rips
bam,
the heart out.
Right there. She has everyone in the movie guessing, including the bad guys.
Yeah.
That is true to her character.
Right. Did you like Katana having this actual Soul Taker sword?
Yeah.
I love that.
I loved how they do gloss over a lot of the superpowers in the movie.
True.
And
but I feel like
I liked that.
It'd be too exposition-y to try and explain everything about everybody. I love how they don't explain Killer Croc at all.
They don't explain a lot.
And they don't explain him at all.
I love that. Because that's the whole thing. It's what the government guys in the movie are sitting there like, okay, so we got Superman, we know about him, and then they all of a sudden get this giant thing plopped on their desk, like, okay, you're now out of 2 minutes ago I had Superman, now you want me to believe in witches, mutated Killer Crocs, this crazy girl who doesn't even seem to have superpowers, and everything else here, and that's what, and you kind of feel the same thing there, like, we get a little bit of backstory, but at the same time, like, it's still very unbelievable. But they take it in such stride.
I love that they mentioned that Batman, they're like, yeah, Killer Croc was in Gotham, but Batman, like, got him out. So I was like, oh, dude, I just want to see a movie with Ben Affleck Batman, kicking the crap out of Killer Croc. That'd be so cool.
I can't picture that.
I know, that's why I want to see it. I can't really picture it either.
He'd have to play it smart, because him punching Killer Croc was able to take a lot of punishment.
The practical makeup also for this guy was awesome.
I was never... a lot of times in movies with these types of makeups, I'm taken out by the fact that I can tell that it's just a character in prosthetic makeup.
Yeah.
But characters like Mystique from the X-Men movies and then Killer Croc in this one, it's... Mystique in the original... in X-Men 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
It's it's done so well, and with the Killer Croc, the spots that you need to focus on are the lips, the eye, and the eyes, because those are where it has to blend to the actual characteristics of the character's face, and they blend so well. His eyes looked like actual Croc eyes. His mouth didn't look like a character's mouth with stuff on it. It looked like a legitimate Croc mouth.
No, I thought it looked great. And one of the things I was, as a nerd a fan of Killer Croc, he had the accent that Killer Croc has, which is the Louisiana kind of...
I think the actor actually can do that very well.
Well, he did Louisiana accent of being, from that area, and I thought, what am I trying to think of? Lagoon? I don't know. He had this Louisiana accent, which is what... Cajun, there it is. Cajun accent that Killer Croc has in the comic books, or when I read him in my head, and in the animated series and stuff like that. And he sounded just like... Although he doesn't have many lines, which I was fine with.
I liked the stoic character.
Yeah, he was stoic. And when he did say things, they were funny or they meant something.
He had a couple of great lines.
Yeah, like, I'm beautiful or, whatever.
Each and every one character had a couple of good lines.
Yeah.
Except for Katana.
Yeah, Katana didn't talk very much.
Very serious lines.
Yeah, she didn't talk very much. Her husband just died.
Yeah,
so.
It fit with her character.
But Boomerang again with the pink unicorn and
He was
everything.
hilarious.
He had the exploding boomerang, which was cool. He had the video boomerang. So like he had all these different boomerangs, which was funny.
But
I
he
love,
still seemed very like nitty gritty and
yeah,
cheap.
But I love how they didn't try and explain it
You know,
at
it's
all,
just,
which
they,
is
they
awesome.
just threw him in. They literally like, oh, by the way, here's the next guy
This
in
guy,
the group.
by the way, he
Boomerang.
uses boomerangs. It's like what? Why?
And we, it's
They didn't
really
explain
funny,
it, which is awesome.
And he brings a very special human aspect to the group of what I would do, like in this character. The second they're no longer like tagged down with explosive, he's like, well, I'm gone, bye guys, and he comes back later. But
Yeah.
it's just immediately for him, it's like, oh, I'm free, toodles.
Yeah. So I really liked him. Let's talk about one. Well, unless you want to mention something else, but I want to talk about the end tag. So the
The after credits.
the after credits scene.
Okay, yes.
I want to talk about that. That has to be one of the coolest after credit scenes. It's because why? Because it's Amanda Waller basically saying she knows who he is. She knows he's Batman, which is awesome. And then Batman's witty as crap and comes back with, "My team and I are going to shut you down."
No, he
which
says
is
my friend.
my friends and I are
Because she
shut you
makes
down.
she makes a point about like there's a difference. You have friends. I only have collateral on these people, and he's like, you keep your crap together. Me and my friends are gonna beat
I
you
also,
up.
yeah, I also like this whole movie. No one stood up to Amanda Waller, or she never has looked scared until
Batman.
the mother effing Batman at the end looks her in the eye and says, "Don't make me slap you
And that
in the
cheeky
face."
look in his eye. It's not the scary Batman look. It's the
it's the,
you know I got
you
this.
know I could kick you.
You know you're down.
So yeah, so
and
it
to see
was-
that trumping the Amanda Waller who stared down Killer Croc, who stared down
yeah,
Deadshot.
but the second Batman's in there, she's like, because she knows Batman and doesn't take crap from nobody.
He doesn't.
Anyways, I loved that scene. Oh, it was awesome.
Ben Affleck nails the subtext.
Yeah, he does. He's good, man.
He's
good as Batman.
He's really everything I never thought he'd be.
He's great as Bruce Wayne too. But I love that fact, making
He's been an older Batman.
Yeah, it makes Justice League make a little more sense, with the looking up the files and stuff like that.
It sets up for it doesn't the movie doesn't try and set up for Justice League a whole lot
No.
around it like a lot of the Marvel movies have come
But
to
I do think it. I wanted okay.
I don't want to say
wanted
it sets it explores the stage.
I wanted to expand the DC extended universe a little bit more than it does.
Okay.
It didn't expand on it too much, but it did at the end with Batman going back and looking through. I was like, oh, okay, this is how it connects to the other movies.
yeah, they
because if
didn't-
not, this is not really. You could not watch any other movies and be fine with just seeing this one.
Yes.
Now they do make mention of the Superman. They have the Superman shirts.
Oh yeah,
and it said
they mention
remember
about his death.
They remember about his death, and they say remember
And
Superman.
they have a lot about like what if the next Superman's not farm boy
Right.
from Kansas.
Right. So they do mention the other movies, but not crucial.
Yeah.
I could say you could watch this without seeing the other
Yeah.
ones and be just fine. I love the after credit scene. One of my favorite after credit scenes, probably in films, mainly just because it's just Batman being Batman. I love
It
seeing
gets back
that.
to the simplicity of after credit scenes.
True.
It's as opposed to like literally trying to
True.
set up for 2 or 3 movies at the same time that
There's
Marvel's
just
come to
one,
do.
so-
it's just the one, and even then that's not the focus of the after credit scene. The focus of the after credit scene is very similar to the first Iron Man movie after
Setting
credit
up
scene,
the
setting up for the Avengers.
setting
It's,
up for Justice
it's
League.
showing the strength of the character for Nick Fury, comparable. I mean, not quite comparable,
Right,
to Batman.
to Batman, yeah.
Batman's. It's just reiterating his strength and his presence in the world.
So Jared Leto as Joker. This is the last thing I want to talk about. Jared Leto as the Joker. What? So you didn't? I know you had mentioned you didn't like him. Did you not like the
It's
scene?
not that I didn't like him.
I know, but you didn't like the fact that people weren't scared of him, and it was
Not that I wasn't scared of him. I wasn't scared of him, and I couldn't sympathize with him. This with every other Joker, every time he goes on his crazy rant, I can follow it. I can understand his logic to the point where I'm next to insane.
Did you ever think he was actually dead?
Oh no,
Okay.
not for a second.
Okay.
Not with the Joker. You're not going to bring a Joker in
And then
for
kill him
half
off.
a movie and then kill him off
No,
right at the beginning.
everyone would hate it. Everyone would rant.
But I was definitely on the. I want Jared Leto. I know Jared Leto has the talent to do it, and I don't think he was given enough space to do it right.
No, this is a Joker Harley movie. It's not really a Joker
Well, it's
movie.
a Harley movie.
It's a Harley movie.
that has the Joker in it.
There you go.
And the one scene that actually did that gave me a lot of hope is at the very end, which I thought was going to be the after credit scene, but they threw it right before the credits.
Was when Joker comes
when
in.
The Joker
rescues
busts
Harley.
right into her cage, and he walks up in full, like, you don't even know it's the Joker because he walks up in full, like, SWAT attire, like riot clothing, except for instead of police, it says Joker, and then you've noticed that, you're like, oh, it's the Joker, and he takes off his mask, and it's just the Joker's face in riot gear, and
Right.
that is just the most picture perfect depiction of the Joker.
So do you think... I think maybe your problem is you wanted more Joker being Joker and less Joker with Harley.
I wanted the movie to focus on the Joker more.
Right. I think maybe
yes.
so I think maybe you liked the performance. You just
I liked
wanted the writing
the
to focus more on
probability
him.
or what it could be. Because again, he's got the talent. It's just it wasn't shown in this. There was no
I can't wait to see him, that Joker
him
versus
and
Batman.
because that's seeing those two characters against each other.
awesome.
That's when you really underline the Joker's
That would be
character
awesome.
traits that don't get shown in the movie. When you put it against Batman,
Yeah. His
that's when
opposite
it's
there.
too you both characters are so strong. You can't have a background Jared Leto Joker from the Suicide Squad against Batman. It's gonna have to be a much bigger Joker.
Yeah. And to me, I thought Joker was scary enough to me. I didn't know what he was going to do. I don't know. I really again, it's very different for sure.
I didn't have a problem with the costume though.
Oh, no. I thought the tattoos and the costuming was going to be a little much, but it actually really wasn't.
It fit with the
It
with
fit
the more
with what-
realistic.
And it fit with his approach, too. Like, the
Yeah.
way he was playing it made sense to me.
It fit with the gangstery
Yeah,
vibe.
which is fine. I think, Joker's been portrayed like that in the comics book before, so this isn't something that's never been touched on before.
He does have a lot of costume changes,
It's true. He's
and
very
that
stylish.
is very Jokery.
He has a lot of money.
He does have a lot of money.
He has a lot of power. He's a lot
does-
of respect.
I don't think he nailed the laugh.
I don't think he ever had a chance.
There's a little bit, and you can hear it in a lot of the audio music at the end credits. There is a backtrack of the Joker
laugh.
of Jared Leto's Joker, a Jared Leto
Yeah.
Joker laugh.
He has a slow laugh,
Yeah, he has a very slow.
methodical laugh.
It doesn't seem very, again, me growing up with Mark Hamill's Joker, the high
not as flamboyant and
it's not
fun,
as
yeah.
it's a
Again-
lot more serious and a lot less cartoony, but at the same time he's doing a more cartoony Joker
Right.
than Heath Ledger's.
I think he just didn't have enough in regards to the story and the writing to play with to really get a good sample for me. I enjoyed what I saw. I want more to be able to give a really good judgment call.
Yeah.
Is that where you're at? So I think we're going to call it there. Again, thank you for listening to this spoiler part of the review. I know this is going on an hour. It's a really long one, but we had a lot to say, and we're really passionate about this.
Yeah, this movie was really it's gonna be one of my favorite superhero movies for a long time.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it again. CJ, I want to say thank you so much for joining me.
Good to be
on this
back.
one. Yes, we'll have to have you.
I'll come back for the next superhero movie.
Yes, we'll have to have you back for Doctor Strange.
Oh my goodness, please.
Oh yeah, trippy mind movie there. So guys, if you enjoyed any part of this episode today, I would ask you to please go subscribe on iTunes, go ahead and leave a review down there, rate, review, share with your friends, and thank you so much for listening, and until next time, I'll see ya at the movies. Bye-bye.